All right, all right. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Ha. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so sorry. I know that we're all chatting and having a great time, but as much as possible, we're very interactive on this stage. We like to have conversations. So it's call and response a lot. It's going to be a lot of back and forth, essentially. But please, I'd like to beg everyone at the back, can we please come to the front? When we take photos, we don't want it to look like, your photos will not be pretty if we don't have you in front. So please, let's come to the front. Gentlemen, you're looking too fine to be at the back now. We won't be able to see you there. There's no light there. We have light for you here in the front. Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for them as they come forward. Thank you. Don't worry, more people will join us. It's fine. The earliest bird eats the fattest stone. Sorry, birds don't eat stone. I'm sorry. I know birds eat something. Worm. Thank you. Yes, the earliest bird eats the fattest worm. Thank you. All right. Welcome, everyone. It's so exciting to be here. It's day 4 of the Ecobank Design and Build Expo for 2024, and we've been having such a fantastic time. We've had interesting conversations with people of different creeds, color, stripes, and different leanings. We've had architects, we've had builders, we've had designers. Today we had someone who is the first certified bonsai artist in Nigeria and possibly in Africa as well. So it's been an enriching conversation. Can we put our hands together for Ecobank, please? Thank you very much. All right. At this point in time, we're going into our next session. But before we go there, I want to ask a quick question. How many people here have tried to rent a house in Lagos? Okay, we've never tried. Okay, how many of us have built houses in Lagos? I know we're all wealthy people. Sir, you have built a house. Okay. You rented a house in other parts of Nigeria. Ha! How many of us have built houses in other parts of Nigeria? You okay, good. Is this gentleman that are not, which one? Is he in Africa? You've built house in South Africa, Abi? Okay, anyways. I was just asking that question because I flashed back very quickly to when I moved out of my parents' house last year. I'm young, I'm Gen Z. When I moved out of my parents' house and I said I wanted to get a nice place, and of course, like every young person does, I went on Pinterest. I said, you know what? How do I get the band guest house in Lagos? Of course, when I had seen all there was to see and all the places they are taking me to, I chose the one that I could afford. And when I was done, I said, you know what? I can make this place better. What can I do to zhuzh up the space, to spice it up? So I went on Pinterest, as I said, I saw inspiration. I said, this place where I want to work, I want to paint it dark gray, right? I said my sitting room, I'll paint it blue. I said bedroom, I'll paint it pink. I just wanted color in the house because I was just, at that point in time, all my friends, every time you go to the house, everywhere is white, white, white. I was like, this is boring, so I wanted color. And then I said, you know what, now that I have all the colors that I want my house to look like, it's time to, paint it, Abi. And I went to the market, and that's a lie actually, I didn't go to the market because I don't know where they sell paints. But I sent my painter to buy me paint. And then he came back. I said I wanted blue. He gave me blue. There's a difference. I know it sounds the same, but there's a difference. You know the blue I'm talking about, the kind that you see and it shouts at you from 3 miles away. The pink that I wanted, he gave me hot pink. And the gray, for the place that I want to be walking and be taking walk calls, it was so dark. Even I couldn't really see myself. So that experience taught me something very valuable. First off, don't trust a Nigerian painter. I'm joking, of course, if you're a painter here. But the lesson he taught me was that you need to take your own life into your hands, right? If you want to choose colors, choose them by yourself. But it was tough as well, because how would I go to the market and say, I want onion pink with cockroach brown, with a bit of Atarodo red. How do I explain that to them? Because everything they see, all red is red, all blue is blue, right? And that's why the session that we're having today is extremely interesting to me, because these folks have made the science of color picking into an art form, right? From the luxury of your house or an experience center, you can choose colors, you can mix and match. In fact, before you get anywhere, you can already see, this is what this place will look like. And so you can envision the future, right? And that's the beauty of the folks that we're going to bring up on stage today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be speaking about best practices for achieving excellence in design. And the folks who are going to speak to us about this are folks who have, over the years, done exceedingly well in the craft, right? They've built and painted and had painted beautiful murals, beautiful spaces all around the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please put your hands together for Deluxe and thank them so much for being here. Thank you very much. All right, during this session, you will learn all about how you can become a better designer, how you can have the eye for design, how you can choose colors. And I love that when this session is done by yourself, I believe that by the time this session is done, I should be able to choose the color of my next house and paint it a certain way. The gentlemen there who have houses in South Africa, by themselves, they'll be able to choose colors for their next houses, the ones that are building in Kenya, of course, by themselves. So very exciting. But before we do that, before we have the panel session, we have a story to tell you about color and how we see it at Deluxe, right? It's not just paint it white, paint it brown. Every color has a story. Every color has history to it. All right, so please, ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the multimedia screens. I want to tell you about the story of color. Thank you very much.
Everyone has something that is theirs, a place they like to go, where nothing and everything matters, a story that is unique to them and could never be told or written by anyone else. Or at least that's what I believe. Colors are a big part of my world. The one tool that helps me see and tell my story the way it is true to me. I could never imagine a world where I don't have it. And if that world exists, I'm glad it's not the one I live in. Colors are for me tools of expression, how I tell stories. It is a medium through which I share myself with the world, one piece at a time. And knowing where to find the right colors is everything. Beautiful, isn't it? Imagine the freedom to express yourself in any color you can imagine. My name is Sarah Seni. This is my color story. What is yours?
No matter how complex your color story, why don't you dare us? We will bring it to life. Deluxe, let's color.
A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. That was beautiful. I hope that we learned a lot from that video, because you see, color has a story. Every color has history. And if you ask any of the gentlemen with cameras here, they'll tell you about color theory, right? How different color communicates different types of emotion. All right, so it's very exciting to learn more about colors and how we can implement the right types of color to the different types of spaces. All right, and to help us with that, I'm going to welcome up our panelists. These are titans of industry, folks who have done it all. Ladies and gentlemen, please, when I welcome them up on stage, I need the applause to be heard across the road into the next town, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, our next panelist is an experienced strategist excelling at creating and executing winning brand and marketing campaigns to effectively position brands as industry leaders. This person is also a trained designer, an industrial designer, and a multidisciplinary media professional with a knack for creating effective marketing and communication solutions to address complex business solutions. This person is going to take all of their knowledge of how to build a brand, marketing strategies, everything they've learned at Dulux to explain to you how we can achieve excellence in design. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we welcome up on stage Habib Lawal. A round of applause, please. Thank you. I need more energy in that applause. Yes. Looking absolutely dapper in his blue suit. You see, there's a certain symmetry to the colors on him. A man that knows how to dress. Please, thank you very much, sir. All right. You can already tell there's going to be a powerful session. All right, next up, folks, we have an expert in color trends. This person knows about the psychological impact of colors and how it affects human beings. She helps clients and businesses make informed decisions to create inspiring spaces. She's passionate about fostering meaningful connections between brands and their customers, combining her color expertise with innovative strategies to drive loyalty and enhance brand visibility. Now, if you're curious about how to leverage collaboration and use tailored color solutions, this is the person for you. This person is committed to excellence and creativity, making her a trusted advisor in crafting vibrant customer focused solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together as we welcome Melody Otutoloro. Otutoloro, I apologize. Please keep clapping for her, please. I've offended her. You need to clap more so that she can forgive me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma'am. Oh, please sit. Thank you. And of course, to moderate this session is the person that cares so much about color because of my experience. I told you already now about how they painted the room yellow and, hair. So because of that, I'm going to have a conversation with them about color. So please put your hands together for our moderator, Toba. It's fine. They don't like me like that. All right. So we'll get you 2 microphones, and then we're going to have a conversation. But before then, I just want to say you look absolutely fantastic. The color coordination and awareness is inspiring, to say the least. Me, I'm a simple man. I wear black, black, black. Finish. I don't know how to mix and match colors, but you look fantastic. All right, can we have microphones for them, please? All right, we have one over here. Here, sir.
Is it on?
Yes. Let's test it. Let's make sure that it's working.
Hello?
Fantastic. Ma'am, is that working?
Hello.
Fantastic. All right. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for them, please. Thank you. I'm loving this crowd. Thank you so much. Absolute beautiful energy. All right. So, this question is very dear to me. Right. I like that I've given my history so that we get a sense of why I think this is important. Why I think there needs to be excellence in how we choose colors, right? How we apply it to our spaces, right? A lot of times people think painting whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's interesting, even if we look back at the past, our parents, and I'm sorry that I'm going on a tangent, just want to set the stage, right? Certain colors were, quote unquote, for certain genders, and other colors were for others. Certain colors were used to set different types of moods. If you were walking on the road and you saw somebody wearing red and they tie red on their hand, you know to run, right? As kids, we understood that green means go, yellow means ready, and red means stop. So color has had such a huge role to play on our lives. But in design, we don't really have, I think sometimes, that we don't get as much consideration for color as I think is important, right? So as a company that's had a reputation of being the leading paint brand in Nigeria, how would you say that you are helping contribute? How would you say you're helping to contribute to the design and building industries? How are you helping them get better with color, selection, and usage? I'll start with you, sir.
Thank you very much, Toba. Before I start, my name is once again Abib Lawa. I'm the Senior Brand Manager for Dulux Paint, and I'd like to say a special thank you to Ecobank for putting this together. The level of excellence that has been at display over the past few days has been quite inspiring, and I've also had the opportunity to view some of the masterclasses and chats that have happened over the few days that we've been here. So kudos to Ecobank for this. And speaking to how we contribute to fostering excellence in design, as you can imagine, design and build covers a whole gamut of different disciplines. We see ourselves as an enabler. With our experience of over 6 decades of doing this, we've got the technical range to be able to provide not just resins and pigments and buckets for people to paint their walls. What we actually offer is empowerment through solutions and systems that work regardless of what the requirement of the doer is. So we pride ourselves in being the enabler of these people who are trying to push the boundaries and also, raise the standards, especially as we try to solve today's problems and also plan for the future. So at Dulux, our role is really about enabling, empowering, and also, helping remove the limits of the imaginations of these people who do the fantastic work of designing and building the Africa that we all dream of.
Thank you so much for that. And I'm curious as well, ma'am. Just to answer that question, how would you say that, with your experience as an expert, right? How would you say you've been, the company and you yourself, have you been empowering more businesses, more brands to embrace color and just think through the psychology of the colors that they're choosing?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So at Dulux, we don't sell paint. We say we don't sell paint. We sell colors. That's what we do. We have mastered the art of color. I mean, like he said, we've been in the business of paint and color for almost 7 decades now. And so we understand the psychology behind the colors that we choose. And that's why we have a free color consultancy service that you can get in store when you walk into any of our centers across the country, or you can meet us virtually. What we really want to do with that is to empower people to really express themselves through color. We want people to be able to elevate their living spaces and their living experiences through the use of color. So beyond consulting, we educate them. So why do you want to use this color? Is it because you saw it on Pinterest? Or are you going to look at your environment? How much natural light is working for you? Can we look at your furniture? We put all that in context to kind of drive them towards making the right decision. So that's what we do.
Thank you. Please, a round of applause for her. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And that's, beyond the shade to me and my Pinterest love. But I'm curious about, just to dive into that a bit, just about the psychology behind that, right? I know I mentioned it briefly, but you're an expert colorist, but would you mind sharing a bit more about why do we choose colors for different spaces? What does that really mean, right? I know I shared before that a lot of people these days, it is, I want to paint my house white. There's the minimalism movement that a lot of folks are, embracing, right? But back in the day, you have houses painted in interesting colors, right? Different rooms with different colors. So just let's dive into that a bit. Let's think through, what are some of the considerations to think through when choosing colors for different types of spaces?
Okay, so the first thing to think about is you as the individual living in the space, how do you want to feel when you come home? After the hustle and bustle of Lagos, when you come home, how do you want to feel? So if you want to achieve calm, reflection, relaxation, that kind of will advise you on the kinds of colors to use. So colors that are in nature that kind of remind you of rest, like water, that like being by the seaside, like walking in a garden. Already, that you will turn to those kinds of colors. If you're someone who does a lot of entertaining, for example, and you always want people to come to your spaces, you would go for the warm colors. So colors that fill you with cheer and happiness, like the sun, like fire, those are the colors that you will consider. Beyond these considerations, you have to think of the weather here, So for cooler environments, they use warmer colors because they want to mimic warmth. For us down here, we go to the neutrals or we go to the cooler colors. So that's what informs the colors that we
Thank you
advise
so much,
on.
Melody. That was fantastic. And just to throw it back to you, Habib, with all she said, right, at Dulux, we know what the best practices are. So how do we encourage people? Like, how do we get people to know that these are the things that you need to know? And it's interesting that she mentioned that we are in a warm climate. It's obvious, right? But a lot of the conversations we've had over the past couple of days have just been about how, as architects, as folks in the built environment, we need to build for the climate, for the country that we're in, as opposed to, I saw this thing, as you said, on Pinterest, and I like it, right? So how are we, what is Dulux doing, for instance, to educate more people about the psychology of all the different colors that are available? Yeah.
Thank you very much for that question, Toba. So in terms of, like I said, being an enabler, which is what you're trying to say, there are 3 key pillars that we look at. First is product development and sustainability, very strong pillar. The second being collaborations and partnerships. And the third being, which I think is very, very critical to consider right now, is investing in the future. So I'll talk a bit about the product and development and sustainability while I'll hand over to Melody to talk about our partnerships and collaborations. So in terms of product development, for us, it is very critical to leverage on our vast experience and technology range in developing the kind of products that work best for the context in which we design and build in Africa. That is important for 2 main reasons. What would apply when you look at Europe and the other non-tropical climates would definitely not really be the best practice here, especially when you're trying to do something that is beyond the norm and you're trying to push the envelope. You need things that are tailored to fit, and that's where our own technical range comes in terms of expertise. We even look into developing products that suit specific areas within our climes, right? For instance, we're bringing a product into the market called Dam Shield, which is specifically designed for places where there's a high level of humidity. And beyond that, we also work on products that also maintain the look and shine of the place, protect you against fungal attacks, So that's the depth of knowledge that we have in this and we bring to bear in terms of our product range, which will always continue investing in technology behind that to ensure that we're always up to date. And in terms of sustainability, that's also very, very key for us. Our products typically have very low volatile organic compounds in there, which means that we're contributing always less to the damage in the ozone layer. And beyond that, we also ensure that there's no added lead in the development of our products. That protects both the buildings and the living spaces and also the people who build and live in those spaces to optimize the level of their experience within those spaces. So that for us is very vital and very critical to what we consider when it comes to delivering products to our clients and also expanding our range. So I'll let Melody talk about that.
So let me just follow up, with his responses. So throughout the year, we have radio campaigns where we educate people about color and the use of color. We also have some TV, things going on as well to educate the public on the use of color and why they use the colors that they use.
Interesting. Are those videos, do you have videos on YouTube? Because I could listen to you guys just speak for the entire year on just colors. He mentioned something that I found very fascinating, which is the type of color and the type of paint you use can affect things like, it can, I guess, help manage the humidity or like the types of molds appearing in your space. The stories I have. Listen. This same house that I've left it now with thankful. If you're just joining us, welcome. This is a panel session on best practices for achieving excellence in design. I'm here with the Dulux team. This is Habib and this is Melody. And we've been having a fantastic time, so thank you for joining us. And I told the story about my house and choosing paints and all the things that my eyes saw. And it's just so interesting to learn about that. I honestly, you do have a YouTube page where I can learn all of these things?
Dulux On YouTube,
On
yes.
oh, fancy.
Instagram.
So on Instagram and on YouTube,
YouTube,
I can
yes.
learn.
Yes, you
If
can.
only I had seen all of this before. But yeah, this is extremely helpful because a lot of times you see that houses have mold, and I don't think a lot of us really understand like why mold appears in houses. Like you say, oh, it's water damage, but there's no water anywhere. It's just we're in a humid climate, right? So sometimes you use certain types of paints that shows the thing, and you're like, what's going on? So this is extremely helpful. Thank you so much. When we talk about design and build, right, it covers such a wide range of applications, of industries, of disciplines, and each one has its own different requirements. It has different needs. There are complexities to it, right? So how would you say that Dulux is ensuring that in the different types of use cases, right? So obviously you won't use the same type of paint, I'm assuming, for an industrial complex or for an external facing wall compared to internal facing as well. So how are you driving these best practices? How are we ensuring that those who are working in these spaces know what to use at the right time and what not to use? Yeah, Melody.
Okay, so across industries like the build industry, architecture, and interior design, we actively collaborate with them to provide some form of training. We offer material support and subject matter expertise, with these associations. So we did a beautification project, for example, with high-profile muralists like Saraceni, like you just watched, and Osa 7, and we guided on the kind of paint to use to last outside. You know how the sun can be here. So we also have a painters training academy where we train young painters. We have graduated thousands over the years, helping them in their profession. We have strong ties with the NIOB, that's the Builders Association, with the NIA, and of course with IDAN. So we regularly, collaborate with them in their events, training, sponsoring, and educating. So that's what we do.
Thank you very much. That's helpful. I'm about to go in a bit of a tangent because honestly, it just feels like I'm learning so much from this and I'm loving it. You had mentioned something earlier about the types of colors that work in different types of climates, and I'm honestly curious. Are there types of colors that in Africa, in Nigeria, with our climate, we shouldn't be using, but you see being used a lot?
So there's no right or wrong answer because color is actually very personal to the individual. How you feel in a red room is different from how someone else will feel in a red room, right? So it really, really depends on the client. But if you want to, if I'm going to piggyback off Ajay's session, he talked about architecture and your identity, right? So for us, we use a lot of mud, earth, brick, wood, stone. So you know that Africans, we tend to go neutral. So we kind of stay in the stone colors, terracottas. Every color you see in sand, from red to brown to gray, that's safe for you to use. Every color you see in your wood finishes, that's safe for you to use. But really it's about the individual. So there's no right or wrong color. There's just the right color for you.
So I can use Atarodo red for my house?
I use Atarodo red.
Okay, that's cool. I would just make sure that I tag you so that if I'm being insulted on social media.
Let me know so I can advise you on the finish.
Okay.
On the finish.
On the finish?
On the finish.
So
we have different finishes. So there's silk finishes, matte, textured finishes. So we need to advise you on the finish, the right finish. But you can express yourself in any color.
Okay. I still have a few more questions. And folks, if you have any questions as well, please share with us. We'll stop in a few minutes. I will ask you questions so you can share questions with us. But I am just enjoying myself because all of my paint questions, all the reasons why I'm seeing strange things I'm just going to get all of them answered. Would you mind sharing, you had mentioned that there's certain types of paints, that work in certain types of climates. Once again, I feel like the answer is it depends, is on who you are. But I'm curious to know if they're like these types of paints don't really work in this climate, or if you're in a more humid region. Like Lagos State, for instance, is a more humid state than, say, Kano, for instance, right? So what would you say are some of the different types of paints that would work well in, say, Lagos State as compared to Kano State?
Okay, to speak to that, remember at the beginning I spoke about, and I think Melody also touched on it, we're actually not selling paint, it's a paint system. It's a solution that is tailored to suit your specific need. So what we typically do is, when you come to us, we do more like a site analysis to really understand what the context of the use is going to be, whether it's internal or external, and the environmental factors that may impact the performance of that paint. And she also touched on the fact that we actually train painters. And the reason why that is critical is because when you are implementing a system, it's important that the technician working on that understands how best to apply the product to optimize its use and its longevity and the performance. So in terms of our paint system, we talk about surface preparation being very, very critical, because that is what ensures that the top coat, which is what you call paint, performs at its optimal best. So when we talk about having a wide range, we're not just covering those things that you see as a final output. There's usually something that needs to be done to make sure the wall is properly prepared to take on the paint, so that both aspects of that system will give you that Dulux promise, which is the longevity, the durability, and the performance over time without any compromise.
Please, a round of applause for them, please. That's fantastic. I was trying to skip the, come and talk to us. I just wanted to get it from you right here now. And the things I know about painting, I know about screeding, I know about, there was something else that they said we should do. It was such a long process. So I've been through things, as you can tell. But thank you so much. That's actually been helpful. And I think the thing I really love the most is the fact that a lot of training is being done to ensure that those who work directly with people, like it's nice and dandy to say, I've come to Dulux, I've selected my colors, I'm excited. But if they don't know proper application, as you had said, it's not going to work. Like the Dulux guarantee is dependent on how you've done your preparation. It's the entire system, as you have said. It's not just, you don't sell paint, you sell color. Ooh, such a nice ring to it. Lovely. So finally, let's say we're looking into the crystal ball, like we're looking into the future. We're trying to see what happens next. What would you say to everyone that's here and everyone, I guess, that's participating, watching us on social media, on the internet? What would you say to them? What would be your message to them just going forward? We'll start with you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much. So as we push the boundaries now and in the future, Dulux has been here and will always be here. We are striving and we will continue to strive to produce quality products and services that meet every painting and coating requirements. Our vision is to create an Africa, a new Africa inspired by color. So no matter how big your dream is, not just in Nigeria, across the continent, Dulux is here.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Please put your hands together for her. Well said. I actually see a world where we have, like when you're in Greece, I mean, everywhere's just white and pretty. It'd be nice if we had our own like color. It was like, Atarodo red, it just was, yeah, just everywhere, just red. Just enter the place like, wow. Everybody will be coming from all over the world to take photos. Fantastic. All right, sir.
Thank you so much. I'll refer back to one of the comments made by one of the keynote speakers earlier on about Africa being having 1/6 of the world's population, and that's quite significant in the sense that the future of the world in terms of what we do next cannot be defined or determined without our own participation. I believe the essence of this expo is really to have those deep conversations about us owning our stories as designers and builders in Africa, and we in Dulux are here to facilitate and support as you dream big, dream wild, and push the boundaries, like she said, in terms of your inspiration, in terms of your imagination. What we are here to do is to ensure that you're empowered to do that, to take on the future and write our own stories, and contribute at a very high level where we're able to define that future, where Africa plays a much larger role, a much more impactful role, even as we create a new Africa inspired by colors.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And before I throw it to questions from our audience, I was just curious if someone wanted to know how to, all the beautiful things you've spoken about, all the ways that Dulux is inspiring and helping artisans and even people to just get better with color, how do they get in touch? What do they need to know to just get started?
Well, you can always reach us on our social media handles. And again, about people, We're also very, very big on people, which is the reason why we invest a lot in trainings, in partnerships, because our partnerships are not always just about, having this kind of meetings. We also want to invest in the people who are actually doing the work, which is why we have year-round trainings available physically and online, and we're also making that expanded format so that anyone, even if you want to go into DIY, we're able to support you in that regard. So much of that information is quite accessible on our website and our social media handles. And of course, you can always walk into any of our Dulux call centers in case you have any inquiries or you want to, collaborate with us. We're always open for those conversations.
All right, thank you very much. Do we have any questions in the audience? I've asked all your questions. Thank you so much. Oh, I've done a good job, yes? Oh, you have a question? You want Black Friday? It was yesterday, sir. It has passed. I'm so sorry.
Well, we have something better than Black Friday.
Okay,
right
fantastic.
Now.
Tell them about
So
Black
currently we're running end of the year promo. This is something we do every year anyway. You can get up to 150,000 naira in worth of discounts if you buy Dulux products across authorized Dulux color centers. So that runs all the way to December 24th. So you should take full advantage of that opportunity.
All right. So please put your hands together for them. Thank you very much. Do we have any other question? None? Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Habiba Melody. Thank you so much. All right, that's our time, folks. Please clap for them very well. They've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So we'll do photos. Yes, photos, and then, yes, thank you so much. Oh, I'm there as well. I keep forgetting I'm a moderator. Folks, our next session is going to start in a few minutes. We'll announce on the public address system, so please stay with us. We still have a fantastic day planned for you, so just enjoy the expo while you're out there, but we'll be back shortly. Thank you very much.